Hey guys, me host SuperSorrell, thank you very much for tuning in. So, I want to talk to you guys about the Five Nights at Freddy's movies. So, I'm not sure if you saw my short earlier today, but I was really impressed with this film, and it's a great movie. For those of you that don't want spoilers, leave now, you're not going to like this chat. But for those of you that have already seen it, or just want to hear about it anyway, I am going to go full spoiler territory, because that's the only way to discuss this film. It's amazing. I really enjoyed it. What's not to like to start with? Matthew Lillard. I mean, he's in this movie. We got Sean Hutchinson, the kid from he's been in loads of things, isn't he? And then of course you have the Five Nights at Freddy's animatronics, which were made by the Henson Studio. I mean, those guys brought to life the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when I were a kid, and now they've brought to life Five Nights at Freddy's for a whole new generation, which is awesome. It's cool that they made real animatronic figures rather than just have CGI, because CGI would have dated so quickly. Whereas because they used actual props in 90% of this film, I would say that this film is probably going to be timeless for quite some time. It's a great masterpiece of a movie, and I definitely recommend it. Now, for those of you, like I say, that don't want spoilers, you may want to get out of here, because I'm going to start talking about the little Easter eggs, things I noticed in the film, things I enjoyed about the movie, and things that I can't wait to see on my second viewing of the movie. Because yes, I will go see this a second time, especially on the big screen. It was amazing on the big screen. So let's jump in and talk spoilers.
What's your favorite scary movie?
So first things first, the thing that everybody's been asking on the internet and dying to know, who's in the movie? So, guest appearance wise, there is a couple of YouTubers in there, but no, sadly, Markiplier is not there. Markiplier was correct when he said during his live stream recently that he was asked to be in the film, but due to scheduling conflicts, he couldn't make it work due to his filming of the film The Iron Lung. So, he wasn't in the movie. However, everyone's favourite Matt Pat was, and he even said his famous line, "It's just a theory." So, that was cool as well. Also, the taxi driver was also one of the YouTubers. I'm trying to think of his name. I think I've got it in my notes here. Where is it? Nope, I can't get it. But there was another YouTuber, but it was a YouTuber that I was not familiar with. Hang on, let me look it up. Corey Kenshin. Sorry, Corey Kenshin is in the movie as the taxi driver. We saw that in the trailer, but it was cool to see him on the big screen as well. So those were the two that I noticed, but there were a couple others apparently, including 8-Bit Ryan, Baz Razbowski, Darko, and Fusion's Gamer. But yeah, Matt Pat being in the film made it for me. That was because that was the series of things that I grew up not grew up watching, but I followed since the beginning, which was the game theory stuff that he did on the Five Nights at Freddy franchise. Bear in mind, for me, everyone always talks about Five Nights at Freddy's and always says that that it's just a trend and people do it for clicks and views and stuff. I've actually been a fan of the game since Five Nights at Freddy's 1. I remember when the first game came out, before it was big, I played it. Five Nights was one of them franchises that caught my attention early on because of the fact that it's based on animatronics. If you guys have followed the channel for a long time, you know that there's nothing more that I love than robotics, and RC cars and anything that's like remote controllable, or which is a form of animatronic of some description. That's why over the years I've done the Transformers Squeaks, I've done all of the sort of RC cars available that came out, and I've always done like any form of animatronic is usually reviewed on this channel, or droid, hence why I've got a big fascination of the Star Wars droids. I like the idea of sentient kind of creatures. And so this always, Five Nights always fell into my wheelhouse. And over the years, I've just done more and more and more of the merch. Which surprises me, actually. Coming on to merch, there's not been a tie-in merch line yet for the movie. Maybe they were waiting to see the reactions before pumping loads of money into a movie line that nobody wants, but it's a shame that the big film is finally in cinemas. We never thought it would happen. And yet we have no merch to celebrate the film with, which is surprising for a franchise which has predominantly been about merch. It's strange to see no merch, but we'll talk about that in another video. For now, I want to go back to the main stars, especially Matthew Lillard. There is some great Easter eggs in there for Matthew Lillard, which is amazing. As we all know, Matthew Lillard is the villain of the piece. He eventually puts on the Springtrap suit, and he's revealed to be, Afton, the villain of the film franchise and games. And it's really cool to see his transformation into the like Springtrap suit and stuff. It's very awesome. But the cool part in it is where he massive spoilers. If you don't want to hear spoilers, get out of here now. I've warned you enough. So there's a bit at the end of the film where he stabs his daughter, and when he pulls the knife out, he stands and tilts his head, puts the knife in his other hand, and goes like that to wipe the blood off. Which of course is very much Ghostface. That is what Ghostface does in all the Scream movies. I felt like that was a definite Easter egg. That to me was done with purpose to show people that he's done it, you know what I mean? It wasn't like an afterthought. It was definitely an Easter egg for Ghostface, which is Matthew Lillard's most famous role, obviously, in Scream. And that's the role he's mostly famous for. There were not to my knowledge, although I'm going to go for a second viewing, not to my knowledge there was any Shaggy references for Scooby-Doo. But Matthew Lillard definitely being in this film has made it. Scott Hutchinson, it's cool to see him now all grown up. Obviously, I've been around since this kid started. I were a young man when he started acting as well, so kind of grew up alongside and seeing his films as he gets older. It's weird to see him now as a grown man, because I'm so used to seeing him from films like Zathura, Bridge to Terabithia. I'm used to seeing him as a young actor, and now he's all grown up. It's weird. But it's cool to see him back on the big screen. And yeah, he definitely played a good role as Mike. I enjoyed his the character he played. The main reason for this film though is for the Five Nights at Freddy's animatronics, or the creatures, as they're known by the Jim Henson Company, the Creature Studio. They did a great job. They looked amazing. They looked big and fuzzy and spongy, and they looked like they should. But the animatronics inside, all the mechanics and machineries, looked freaking menacing, which is what you wanted. So all in all, they did a great job at bringing Freddy and the gang to life. I thought this film was a great setup. Is there anything that hints at a potential sequel? Not really. The film is kind of in itself just a closed off movie, boxed off, done. But, at the end of the film, Mike's sister does say, "My friends are all alone, can we go back and see them?" That implies that they are still in that pizzeria, just wasting time, just being animatronics. So will someone else stumble into Five Nights at Freddy's and will the second game come to life? I don't know. Personally, I think they might not do much in the way of Five Nights at Freddy's 2, 3, 4, and 5. I think we've got this film, which is predominantly Five Nights at Freddy's 1, 2 kind of storyline. I think that after this, if they're going to continue this as a franchise, I could see them doing this film. The second film would be Sister Location. The third film would be Security Breach. That is how I see it happening, personally. As well, again, it's been a long time since I played the original game lineup, but as we know, Security Breach, one of the main characters in the game was Vanessa. Let me just get some details. I need to find some details on the screen. I'll be 1 minute. Okay, yes, so in the Five Nights at Freddy's VR Help Wanted and in Security Breach, we obviously know the character of Vanny, who's Vanessa, who has been corrupted and is a follower of Glitchtrap and all that serial killer stuff. And in this movie, we get introduced to a police officer who knows a lot about Five Nights at Freddy's, also going by the name of Vanessa. Now, I think those two characters in the movie franchise are going to be one and the same. Probably not what Scott Cawthon is going to do with the games, maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's how they're going to make the game universe different from the movie universe. But I think she's going to be one and the same person. I think we will see her again in future films. I also think they'll bring back, Hutchison is young enough to continue making these films for a while. So I could see them reusing those characters as time goes on. There's no way that they've made those big animatronic suits just for a one-off movie. So I do think we haven't seen the last of the Five Nights at Freddy's movie cast. And I'm glad, because I can't wait to see what else Scott does with this franchise, whether we get any Easter eggs, anything going forward. I can't wait for this film to come out on Blu-ray because you know it's going to be chock-block full of special features and other stuff like Easter eggs and maybe sneak peeks at future projects. Guys, what are your thoughts? Have you seen the Five Nights at Freddy's movie? What do you think of it? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video today, smash that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future content, and I'll see you in the next video. But until then, keep it creep. Bye!